Hello, this is A Lonely Record, and this is my review of the 2021 Japanese drama My Love Mix-Up, or Kieta Hatsukoi. Based on the manga series by Hinekure, Wataru, and Aruko, the 10-episode series revolves around, quite literally, the love mix-ups of Aoki, Mio, Ida, and Aida, who all go to high school. I watched the show, and I'm here to break it down. Here's a rundown of the story, spoilers included. We are going to do a story breakdown, character breakdowns with my thoughts, notes on subplots in the show, music, cinematography, rewatch value, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. Aoki is a well-meaning but insecure teenage boy harboring a crush on his classmate Hashimoto. One day, Aoki sees Ida written on her eraser. There's a legend that says if you write your crush's name on the eraser and you use it all up, your crush will return your feelings. In a turn of events, Ida believes that Aoki is the one who likes him. Aoki finds out that Hashimoto likes his friend Ida, supports her, and develops feelings for Ida, only for Ida to push him into telling Ida the truth of the misunderstanding, thinking that he's helping. Aoki does confess properly to Ida. They agree to date despite the differences in feelings, and after misunderstandings and heartache, Ida reciprocates, and Ida and Hashimoto work out after he doesn't remember the inciting incident of her feelings. They fight, make up, and agree to be friends until Ida drops a hint for their class party. By the end of the show, I remember feeling annoyed, but in hindsight, it worked quite alright, with some minor hiccups here and there that I think could have improved the quality. But to better understand that, we have to look at the characters and some of their actions. Also, just full disclosure, I have not read the manga, which is 9 volumes of these characters, so I'm sure that the manga, due to the length of it, has more time to build these character arcs. The show does a decent job for the 10 episodes that it has. Anyway, onto the characters. Sota Aoki. Aoki is the main character of this story. He is shown to be an overthinker, considerate, a pushover, and not taken seriously by his peers. In the beginning, I found Aoki endearing, but as the show went on, he became more and more annoying, especially in the second half of the show. What I mean by that is that he has multiple conversations with Ida about their feelings not being at the same level, and Aoki expresses that he understands and can wait for Ida's feelings to catch up. Yet he frequently gets upset at Ida, who openly communicates with him, is patient, and is always inquiring about Aoki's feelings in the moment. I think it annoyed me more in the moments he got insecure and lashed out at Ida, because he always brings up how he doesn't feel the same and isn't taking this whole dating thing seriously. If he was asking Ida if he was developing feelings, or if they never talked about the difference in romantic feelings, but Aoki lashes out at Ida when he treats him like a boyfriend. Aoki is incredibly insecure. He's learning about his sexuality, and I understand that he's going through it. I can even see why he doesn't lash out at anyone other than Ida, because he could see him as a cause to all of his problems. I just think the back and forth in the drama over their feelings and dating status grew tiresome. Aoki isn't the worst in my eyes, but I think the show could have been an episode or two longer to smooth out the whiplash in Aoki's arcs as a character. While he will come up again, we should move on to his boyfriend, Kosuke Ida. Ida is the prince of the class, a member of the volleyball team, calm, collected, and serious to almost a fault. I like Ida. I only think he did 1 or 2 things wrong throughout the entire show. The first, arguably, was agreeing to date Aoki when he confessed the second time. For real. It might have been better had he just said, let's be friends first, but knowing Aoki, he'd overthink that and implode and cause shenanigans. But I understand it, and I can overlook this one mistake of his because he had already started to gain an interest in Aoki, but I'm just wondering, I sincerely doubt it's his first confession that he's ever received. But anyway, I can move past that one, but the second mistake he made was not telling Aoki that he liked him directly. Oh wait, that's right, he did! He told Aoki that he thought he was falling for him, and I'm infuriated that this never comes up again, like in the moments where Aoki continuously tells him that he's not taking this seriously and he's making fun of him. Verbatim, Ida says, in episode 6, I started to understand the feeling of liking someone. I wonder if I like you, Aoki. And it's not only that. Anytime Ida compliments Aoki, he brushes it off as if that's not what he's been waiting to hear. But anyway, Ida's great in the show and shows that he's not only a great friend or lover, he's a great person too. There are a lot of dramas that love to sell on the point that the love interest only has eyes for the main character, that as a result, we fail to see evidence as to why the love interest would be deemed popular or likable in the world the story is set in. This is very common in shows like Love by Chance, Takura-kun and Amagi-kun, Until We Meet Again, and so on and so forth. That's why I do want to give praise to the show for having a character like this where we clearly see why he would be popular. But also, another show that does this well is Cherry Magic, which was a phenomenal drama, and it honestly deserves a video of its own, so I'm not going to go too much into how great that show is. All in all, Ida's character is fairly static, bare bones, but certainly a highlight, if not the highlight, to the show in my opinion. But let's move on to their classmate, Mio Hashimoto. Hashimoto is kind, supportive, and part of the home economics club. She's honest about her feelings and a great friend to Aoki. I like Hashimoto. She supports Aoki's endeavors and is always the first to get ready to throw hands to anyone who crosses Aoki. The only thing I question her on is her feelings for Ida. Yes, they're clear and she's had these feelings for a few years, but, and I know it's petty, really? Ida, of all people? Honestly, I haven't got much to say about her other than she's a refreshing change of pace when Aoki begins to become grating. I do wish she'd call Aoki out at times and give Ida more of the benefit of the doubt. For both of them, Hashimoto and Aoki, they choose to be there for each other and stop one another when they get too dramatic, and it's a good friendship to see that I wish we could have seen more of in that extra 1 to 2 episodes I want them to add. She's cool, but now we have to move on to her crush, Hayato Ida. The episode he came on, I felt the show took a turn by becoming a roller coaster. Ida is seemingly Aoki's only friend. He's sociable, a jokester, and doesn't take life or anything too seriously. Unless he is told directly or given the most evidence, he will not figure out the obvious. I don't like Ida, but I don't hate him either. Ida feels like one of the most realistic characters, for the most part. He cares about his friends, but he won't lie to them, and he won't change for them. He just does the best that he can in the moment, and he doesn't make a big deal over nothing. Even when he couldn't remember Hashimoto telling him about why she likes him, he didn't rack his brain. He wasn't missing school. He wasn't getting fevers over that. He just thought about it, remembered, and was honest when he said, I didn't have the best impression of you. My biggest gripe with him is in the final 2 episodes. He basically indirectly confesses to Hashimoto. To be honest, I started skipping in the final episode because there was frankly not enough to keep me invested for it. But I feel the moment could have been so much bigger than it was, just considering it was Hashimoto's love, and she is such an essential character to the beginning of the whole plot. Ida is kind of secondary, but you know what I mean. I understand that Aoki and Ida had to get back together again, so I guess they gypped Hashimoto on her long-term unrequited love reciprocation. They had to cut that because they needed Aoki and Ida to talk for the 12th time about the same thing. So that's Ida. Now that we've discussed the characters, here's my thoughts on certain plot points in the drama. The assistant teacher who helps Aoki with math can eat a rock. I know he was there for a reason, and he exposed a lot of Aoki's tendencies and flaws, but it would have been so much better if it was subtle. By Aoki's tendencies and flaws, I mean his tendency to blame himself and think that everything is his fault, hence the insecurity. Which is why I say that's a flaw. In no situation would that encounter with his teacher have ever been his fault. That would have 1,000% been on the prejudiced jerk of a teacher. But back to the subtlety. The show they literally spell it out for us, that this teacher is ignorant and prejudiced by telling us his thoughts and escalating in such a short amount of time. It was such a big moment in general that was washed over so quickly and so soon. This could have been a huge thing. The teacher could have interjected and said more than just indirect babble. Also, the classmates could have found out, and that could have been a much bigger reason for Aoki to be insecure and worried about what other people thought of him dating Ida. I understand he's figuring out his sexuality. I'm just saying that the situation with this already not great assistant teacher could have been brought out more. It could have made more of the situation. And yes, it brought Aoki and Ida closer together. But at the same time, this moment had no impact later on. By the next episode, this moment is not brought up again, and we have to revert to the same conversations that we keep having with Aoki and Ida about Ida not taking this seriously and Ida not feeling the same way. Every time that Ida treats him as a boyfriend, anytime they start to get intimate in any sort of way, and by that I mean like not much from my opinion, but anytime Ida expresses compliments or any interest, Aoki takes anything that could be negatively perceived, takes it negatively, and makes it a big deal and wants to break up. At the end of that episode, the only message that we really received with the whole student-teacher thing was it just strengthened Aoki and Ida's bond for the episode and gave us the message everyone's got different tastes. It just made Ida look like a really good guy, his friends are supportive, and Aoki grew a little bit, but that growth didn't really come up. And I could forgive it if it was brought up in later episodes where Aoki is talking about, oh, that incident with the assistant teacher really made me feel worried about people finding out about us. Let's tone it down. That could have been a conversation, but they never do that. All in all, I just feel it was a missed opportunity to grow Aoki's character that could have drastically improved the final episodes had the lesson been remembered. This show forgets major details way too much. It forgot the ending conversation from episode 6, where Ida expresses that he might be falling for Aoki. The assistant teacher episode was completely thrown out the window, and Aoki and Ida's date felt more like the actors just hanging out. And I know many dramas do this to show that the actors were having fun on set, but you cannot tell me that the person we saw hanging out with Aoki on that date is the same person, the same Ida we've seen throughout the entire show. No, that felt more like the actor. And even the same with Aoki. He could be passable more as that's Aoki's character, but even then something felt off. It felt more like B-roll from the actors hanging out in the set. Moving on to the music and cinematography. The music wasn't really a standout for me. It wasn't distracting, but it was a nice touch in the quiet moment that they let the music say something. The shots in the show weren't spectacular either. They used a lot of the same shots. For example, the vending machine is what comes up when I say they recycled shots a lot. Same with the classroom. They didn't really explore different angles. Like, I didn't feel like I was in the setting. I just felt like, that's the classroom. I guess we're there now. Do you understand what I mean? They used a lot of the same shots, but the most interesting shot in my eyes and the staging was the end of episode 6. I know that ending conversation with Aoki and Ida was a great staging to me, and it was just different shot angles that I hadn't seen in the show. At that point, I was kind of getting tired of the same thing, so it was a nice change of pace. Same with the episode where they're doing the camping in the mountains. That was also a good change of pace. Any new environments were fun. Overall, music and cinematography weren't out of this world from my perspective, but they didn't hinder the show. So I can forgive that. Let's move on to rewatch value. Now, I would rewatch this show, but not in its entirety. There are certain scenes that are definitely cute, but they're messed up later. Episode 6. I wish that conversation would go on later. And even in that conversation where Ida and Aoki are talking at the end, Ida says maybe it would be better if they weren't dating right now, but they were friends and getting to know each other better. Yet in the next episode, for the very early beginning, Ida asks Aoki, what do you do when you date? It was like that scene never happened, and I don't understand why it didn't happen, because I would have loved it if they took a step back from their dating relationship to strengthen their friendship, so I wouldn't have to hear Aoki say again and again how Ida doesn't feel the same way, even though Ida's been pretty clear with his communication and his actions how he feels. He's even tried to use words, but Aoki rejects them, saying, don't suddenly compliment me, which I think is just so disappointing. It leaves you with no options. And even Ida gets frustrated at the scene when they do break up for a period of time. In the scene that I'm talking about, Ida tells Aoki that his team members know that they're in a relationship, which causes Aoki to just have a breakdown a bit about it and tell him how he could be so careless. And I understand that he thinks he's protecting Ida, but Ida is only getting the impression that he's ashamed of him, which is not the case, but it's what's being perceived. And ultimately, Aoki just kind of gives up and is like, we should break up. And Ida doesn't, he accepts it, or because he doesn't have a choice. I'm sure Aoki ran out of that scene. Again, last episode was speeding through. I knew it was coming. I was frustrated when it came. And I was just like, okay, let's hurry up and get them back together. But the odd part is they would communicate after. They didn't have a tumultuous ending to the relationship. I don't understand. And immediately after that, Aoki is like, I'm gonna confess to Ida. And I just don't understand why. But either way, that scene was there. By the last episode, I was just over the whole thing, all the antics, and just wanted the show to end. Every time I enjoyed the pacing of the shows, someone, usually Aoki and Ida, ruined it. We had to find and build back our normalcy, which took the entire episode. And maybe drama is built that way, but I've seen enjoyable dramas where I was engaged and I didn't feel like I was fighting for my life to get to the next wholesome scene. With all that being said, if I had to rate this show, I'd give it a 7.5 on my drama list. I'm glad this show exists, and to give it some credit, I think it's my favorite Japanese BL set in a high school setting. I recommend it if you're interested in drama, romance, and high school misunderstandings. But that's all from me about this drama. I got way more angry than I was intending to. This show does a lot well. It looks nice in terms of the coloring, but music is there, shots are there, the same conversations over and over are there, forgetting important stuff is there. And so ultimately, I can't give this show anything above a 7.5 because of the second half. The second half just dropped the ball for me. There was some good stuff in it, to be sure, but it's just, you can only handle someone who wants to be in a relationship and then sabotages the relationship due to their self-doubt so often, especially when the show shows you information that indicates otherwise. That's just not my favorite pastime in terms of drama. It's nothing personal, and I understand. Again, I feel like I'm being really hard on Aoki. Aoki is flawed, but he's learning about himself. But I can't let go of the fact that the show is willing to forego and forget important things that they took the time to write and put in the show and forget about it. I can't let go of episode 6. But that's all. Thank you. And if you liked this review, please give it a like. I would love to do other dramas because I have seen quite a lot of dramas in my tenure in this life, and I'd love to just give my opinions and analyze it. So yeah, see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this record.